Hey, it's Rich Tehrani with TMCnet. Thanks for watching. We are having our Editors Week in Santa Clara, California, 2016. Paul Pluschkell is with us. He is with Kandy with a K. Paul, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Rich.
So we're thrilled to have you. I've written about Kandy numerous times in the past, and those people who follow me certainly know who you are, but in case someone doesn't, give us the overview, please.
Sure. So Kandy is a communication platform as a service. I like to think of it as a profit center for businesses bolting onto large carrier networks or using in our AWS cloud instance. So think about it as Twilio for you. So we're enabling carriers to have the Twilio capabilities of a CPaaS, but with the benefits of their own network, their own customers, and their own support.
Fantastic. So what are some of the other benefits of a carrier providing CPaaS as opposed to going to an over-the-top provider?
Sure. I think the world started out with UC, and what is UC? Like UC is a product that we believe you build and you hope somebody needs and buys, and so you keep having to add features to these products because people say, well, it'd be great if this product could do this or that. When you're selling Kandy, Kandy is a platform. So Kandy is a CPaaS platform, communication platform as a service, embedded communications, where you're really delivering outcomes. So it's saying, hey, I have a call center, and I'd like my call center to be able to use a bot. And I'd like that bot to have sentiment analysis so that it knows when a customer is getting upset, I can escalate it to a human. And on that human, I'd like this modality, and I'd like the context to go. Well, that's what CPaaS or Kandy is. It allows you to create personalized outcomes for greater customer experiences, no matter how you use communication. And that allows that communication to be embedded directly in your workflow. So increased productivity. If I'm in SAP, why would I want to leave SAP to go to a UC product to make a call or to get a video conference? If I'm in my SAP software, why don't I just have group messaging? Why don't I just have click-to-call video? If I'm with a customer and I need to escalate to a service, why can't I just do that with the application I'm in and the time I'm in? So what we're trying to do is really create better experiences for everybody, both workers and employees and customers.
Fantastic. And in terms of news and announcements, are there any things that we should know about?
So we're going live with Deutsche Telekom Member very quickly. I think it's going to be in 18 countries, DTIMMR. It's their kind of WhatsApp type of product to their customers. I'm just loving it. It's going to eventually include things like payments and advertising. We have a open. Well, I don't know if I'm announcing this yet. We've signed a deal with IDEA, and we've got a really nice instance of a platform about to be offered as a service with IDEA in India. And we have a few big announcements that we're planning in January with some local large carriers here for CPaaS bolt-on platforms. And what I love about our business model that's very unique is we take the benefits of what you have and what you've built, and we just bolt on a digital strategy for you. And this digital world, we're all artists. So you have 10,000 employees that could actually build something or develop something to make something great. We now are enabling everybody to have the tools as a digital artist to do that. You no longer need a production studio like in the old days with sound. You simply need an API or what we call a wrapper. It's a head start to get a bunch of APIs together to perform an outcome. What I like to talk about is I liken it to you can have a garden and you can go in that garden, you can peel a carrot and you can start making some soup, or you can go to an organic store that already has the carrots peeled in an organic broth or soup, and you can put it on the stove and maybe have the same outcome but a little quicker. Now, if you still want to go to the garden to add some piece, you can, but you don't have to start from scratch every time. And that's what Kandy lets you do with our Kandy wrappers. You can actually take an outcome that's already built for you, and then you can add APIs to it to make it personal.
Right. Now, I think for the metaphor, you should use chocolate.
Chocolate.
Because it goes better with candy, yeah.
I know.
Because the vegetables and the candy, it just doesn't,
I don't know how to make candy.
Well, you can have the candy for the candy for dessert.
Okay. Sweet candy.
So the benefits are, I guess, you have more control by having the infrastructure, and as opposed to going over the top, there are some benefits that you would have above and beyond, as opposed to relying on a third-party vendor.
Well, over top is still part of Kandy. So let me explain this. If you have the infrastructure already for connectivity and you have the billing, OTT might be a great way for you to provide an application to your end user. The DTMer is a great over-the-top application. What we're saying is you can build over-the-top applications on Kandy. We actually have reference apps. We bought a company called Fring 3 years ago that had 55 million consumer subscribers that you can build on top of the Fring container. We have an Omni container that takes in the best of all products. You use Microsoft Link, bring it in. You want to take some carrier's voice, bring it in. So we allow you to have all.
But you could also buy the hardware if you wanted to, right? Is that another option, right?
No,
You could buy
no.
so it's really
Absolutely
all
not.
100% over the top.
100% over the top.
So all these years, I thought it was also something you could buy. So I thought it was in addition to the hardware the company sold, but it's interesting.
Well, Genband, the parent company, the core, does sell all the switching gear, and they're moving right to NFV models, of course. So it'll be subscription based as well.
But could I, if I was a carrier customer, though, would I be able to add the capability onto my Genband equipment or not?
Absolutely, you bolt on Kandy to what you have and the
so in
IMS
that
cores
case,
that you
yes.
use. So all the infrastructure that you spent and the money you spent with Genband, actually, we increase the value of it by having different outcomes.
So it's almost hybridy in that you can have it in house, or you could just go over the top with it.
Well, so let's explain. Let me kind of define what you mean by over the top. When I'm talking about over the top, I'm saying it's an application that's riding over the top on some of the infrastructure that I have. What we're saying with Kandy is there's 3 different business models. We can go with an AWS instance, which is our public Kandy cloud, where you can just make consumption models off of that. I can give you a private instance, a single tenant instance of AWS, because you might have proprietary information you don't want to share. Or my best model for Kandy is actually bolt Kandy onto your network in your core, and we allow you billing, provisioning, owning the customer, and still have all the outcomes that Kandy offers.
Okay, so there's 3 different ways of getting it. And then you have the wrappers, which allow you to have these, like, I guess they're almost like programs that you can add on to. Like you said, Fring, et cetera, for voice over IP and some of the other ones.
I think what we found out is once we bolt onto a carrier network, do you want to have to go through training your entire sales staff on like a UC product and say, I have to have certification, I have to have training, I have to have all these things that get in the way or friction of making a sale. What we're saying with Kandy is we've built some wrappers so a salesperson can point to the platform and say, here are some outcomes. You can consume them right today, or you can go to the APIs and write more of what you want. But they're no longer in that middle state where they have to show and demonstrate. You actually go on the platform and you use it. So it's a much quicker way to get to revenue to market, and it's much more personalized.
Is there anything else we should know in terms of the future of Kandy? What else is there?
I think the big things right now, when I look at it, is AI. It's bots, right? I think we're finding out. One example, I was just at IBM World of Watson, and it was my favorite example that we showed. So it's about $12 to have a agent connect with a customer to solve a problem in typical contact center world. So what we did is we wrote to semantics of Watson for sentiment analysis. And what we allowed it to do is a bot was speaking to the customer. You go on a website all the time, you see a bot's talking to you, and you kind of know now. At first you thought it was a person, then you kind of know it's a bot because you're very limited in what you can do. Well, once this bot understands that you're sensing a bit of frustration, it can now escalate the conversation directly to a human. And all that context is passed through so that you just feel like it's a natural evolution and flow of a conversation. It does actually 3 things. One, we can create better customer success. One, we can weed out bad customers quickly. The bot could actually understand at some point that this might just not be a customer that fits the right mold. And the sooner you get rid of that, the better, so that you can protect your revenue and increase your revenue or profits with the right customers. And finally, it can actually allow humans to interact with your best customers also all the time. So, if you're a global services member, or if you have a black card at American Express, maybe you do want to have real potentialized personalization. So all these new outcomes are available in the digital world because everybody's an artist and you can create whatever you want.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Okay, thanks, Rich.